Hey there, welcome to Creative Happy Life. I'm Shannon Sorensen, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether it's your first time listening or you've tuned into every episode, I truly appreciate your support, and I really hope you enjoy this show. I want to share with you that over the past few weeks, I took a little break from recording podcast episodes in order to launch my YouTube channel. So, if you're interested in watching videos over on YouTube, all you have to do is look up my name, Shannon Sorensen, and my channel should pop up and you can subscribe and get notifications. And it's going to be a really fun space for me to share painting and drawing videos and talk about, what inspires me and my creative process as I am drawing or painting. I think it's a really fun way for me to share how I work and the things that inspire me and the places that inspire me and kind of the everyday ins and outs of being a working full-time artist and, also having kids and life. But if that sounds interesting to you, I really hope you'll hop over to YouTube and look up my name and subscribe to my channel. And one of the things that has been really fun for me has been a weekly series that I started called Creativity Pep Talks. It is every Monday on my YouTube channel. I share, it's about a 10 to 15-minute video giving you some encouragement and wisdom and inspiration and guidance to start your week on different topics, kind of like we do over here on the podcast. And I started thinking that that series might actually better serve this space on Creative Happy Life because when I started this podcast, that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to give listeners some encouragement and a little entertainment and just something to think about throughout the week or throughout the day, but in a shorter format show. So I really hope you enjoy these creativity pep talks going forward. I don't know how frequently I'm going to be doing them. I would like to do them at least once a week, and I have a little bit of a crazy idea to maybe do them every morning if it's a much shorter show that doesn't take as much time to edit and upload and all those things that you have to do when you're producing a podcast. I am a one woman show. I'm doing this all by myself in my bedroom in my condo while my little guy is having a snack and watching his favorite PBS shows downstairs. So, if you enjoy this podcast, any support you can give me, any boost is super duper appreciated. You can subscribe over on Apple Podcasts. You can share links to the shows with your friends and family if you really enjoy them. But any support you give is very helpful. It shows Apple that people are interested in listening to the podcast. If you give it a rating, 5 stars is amazing if you really enjoy it. And if you take a moment to just write a little review, that is like the cherry on top of an ice cream sundae. Getting to read what you think about the show has been a really great motivator for me to stick with it, even when I go through periods of, you know, having to take a break and do some other things. I do have several things that I enjoy doing, and that all culminates into my life as an artist and as a creative person. But I really do, at the core, want to inspire and encourage you to dig into your own creativity, find things that make you happy, find things that you enjoy, and do more of that. Um, you know, this year has really taught us that today is the day to do something for yourself that you enjoy, that makes you happy, that helps you feel better. It doesn't have to be art. It can be baking. It can be writing. It can be taking a bath. It can be going for a walk. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just having a deeper understanding of yourself and the things that you enjoy, the things that help you feel better generally day to day. The name of this podcast is Creative Happy Life. And I do want to talk a bit more about art and creativity, but creativity isn't just about art, and happiness isn't just about surface level looking happy on the outside. It's about, for me at least, it's about mindset, and it's about learning what you have in your tool belt as a person to feel better. What can you access within yourself or around yourself each day to feel better? Because, none of us walks this earth happy all the time. No one does. And that's not what I'm trying to get to within this podcast, but what I am trying to get to is helping you think about and find and enjoy things in your life that you can turn to when you're going through a tough time, when you're not feeling so great. Things that can give you some comfort, give you some enjoyment, give you a break, give you a little bit of levity and lightness when things feel heavy. I've learned so many things just for myself in the past year and in the past couple years, in times that I have struggled, in times that I have not felt great about myself and about life, and just questioning why things happen and how things happen. And, every person is different. Every person is going to have different tools in their tool belt depending on who you are and what you like and what's around you and who's around you. So these are all things we discuss on the podcast. And I want to get into one of those things today that has been inspiring me. And I'll talk about my kids a little bit on this podcast because they do inspire me. They inspire my work and they make me think in different ways. And it's so funny how the way kids see the world can really make you think and understand better, because as grown-ups, our brains change. We think we know so much, and then a kid will just, you know, come at you out of left field and totally shake up your worldview in less than a minute with a question. So I want to talk today about the concept of practice. And it's so funny because there's this phrase that we grew up with, and I heard it over and over and over again as a musician and as a dancer and as an athlete, that practice makes perfect. Let me know if you have heard that phrase before at some point in your life. If someone has told you practice makes perfect as a means of encouraging you to practice, right? So as a kid, I remember learning to play the flute when I was like brand spanking new at playing the flute. I sucked. I was not good. I don't know anyone who picks up a flute and can play it well. But when you're in the beginning phase of learning something, it's the most frustrating because if you think about it, you're the furthest from knowing what you're doing and developing the skills and the knowledge to do this thing that you want to do. So it can be really frustrating when you have a long way to go. When you're learning to play baseball and you swing the bat 100 times before you connect with the ball, or you're painting and your paintings look muddy and messy and nothing like what you want them to look like. Learning is a process, and practice is part of that process. And so today's little nugget of wisdom isn't practice makes perfect, because we know that perfection is not a thing. It's an idea, but it's not an actual thing that any of us can attain. So I want you to shift this whole practice makes perfect saying in your mind. Throw away the word perfect and replace it with practice makes better. Practice makes better. Apply that when you are learning, when you are practicing, when you know you're not quite where you want to be, you want to get better. All right. No one's going to be the most amazing and the best, because we can always be working our way up. We can always be getting better. We can be improving. We can be learning. The idea of perfect is that there's a ceiling that we can reach. This way, way, way high up their ceiling. Whatever that idea is in our heads, I think can intimidate us and stop us from even starting. Or the minute we hit a bump or a block or a struggle, we say, well, I'm never going to be way up there at the top, so why bother? Let's throw away that mindset. Let's think, how can I do better? What can I learn? What can I try? How can I change things up so that I can keep learning, so I can keep growing, so I can get better? I was sitting at my little art table yesterday. I have this little art nook in the front window of our townhouse. And I was sitting there working on an abstract painting, and I actually sat for about 3 hours working on a painting, and I was getting really frustrated because I had an idea in my head of where I wanted it to go, and I had to keep reminding myself, it's not gonna magically become what I want it to be. This is all part of the process of work, of doing the work, of being disciplined and sitting down and consistently continuing to try. The process is being consistent in the trying, in the learning, being open to messing up, being open to making a mess, being open to falling on your face or tripping or swinging and missing the ball, but still standing up there and saying, you know what, I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep going. I was sitting there watching this painting evolve over 3 hours. And at different points, I remember thinking to myself, this looks pretty good. I could stop here. But I knew it wasn't, I knew I could do more. So I kept going. And at one point, my daughter came up behind my elbow and she was kind of watching me paint. And she had worked on a painting earlier that for 8 years old, she had a very beautiful concept of what she wanted to create. And, she had finished her painting and she had been watching TV and she came over to look at me paint and she said, how come you're so much better than I am? And I said, Lil, it's not about being better. You created a beautiful painting and that's your art. This is my art. They're very different things. Every person makes different art. Every person approaches things differently. Every person uses different brushes, different colors, different ways of painting. It doesn't make one better than the other. But I notice, especially with Lil, she's 8 years old. She's kind of reaching a point where she can do more and she's getting more confidence in herself. But she's also starting to notice what other people can do. And she's a little bit competitive. She has this competitive edge. So her question, how come you're so much better than me, really struck me because I recognize that feeling of seeing what other people can do and wanting to already be at that point, but simply not. So I told her, I paint almost every day. And when I sit down to paint, I'm painting for more than an hour. I'm painting sometimes for 3 or 4 hours on one little piece. So it's a matter of practice. And I told her, I said, you go to ballet class every week and you practice for an hour. If you went to ballet 5 times a week, you would have that much more practice under your belt. You would have that much more discipline and that much more knowledge, that much more time spent on one activity. Yes, you're going to be at a different level than someone who does things once a week or once a month or once a year. We have this expectation that we're going to sit down to do something and we're just going to be magically amazing at it. I do that all the time. I sit down at the piano or I pick up my ukulele or, I am determined to start running and I am not a pianist. I don't know how to play the ukulele and I'm not a runner. But we get these ideas in our head of how we should be. without wanting to acknowledge that it's going to take some work to get there. So practice makes better. Practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? You practice. And I have performed at Carnegie Hall. All right, that's a little bit of a flex here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with flexing on my own podcast. But in high school, I was part of a wind ensemble. It was the advanced audition band. And this was after years of practicing the flute every single day, practicing discipline, consistency, to be a part of a group that also practiced together every week consistently and worked diligently on getting better and better and better. You mess up, you start over, you try again. And we, as a group, worked so hard and had a beautiful opportunity to perform at Carnegie Hall. We could not have done that if we didn't practice consistently and diligently and hold ourselves to a higher standard. It wasn't luck. It wasn't luck. A lot of times we think, oh, well, they're lucky. Well, sometimes luck plays a piece of it, but a big thing that we need to acknowledge is that people practice and they work hard. They keep trying, they keep showing up, even on the bad days, even on the days that are extra hard, you know. So I want to encourage you this week to practice. Whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you're working on, it doesn't have to be every single day, but let's practice spending a little bit of time each day doing something that we love. It doesn't have to be art, okay? It can be exercise. It can be learning to decorate cookies. It can be mastering a level of your favorite video game. Like, let's just get real here and share the things that we enjoy, because it doesn't matter what it is. It just matters how it makes you feel. It matters that it's something that you love and you want to spend time doing because it helps you feel better. It helps you feel happier. It gives you a break from your stress. It gives you a break from whatever you need a break from, right? We all have different needs. We all have different wants. We all have different desires. And by being consistent, by being consistent in our lives, in our day to day, by doing what we love, by practicing making it a habit, a part of our everyday lives, we will get better. Each day will get better. The thing that we love will get better. All right. A kid picks up a controller for the first time to play Super Mario Brothers. They're probably going to fall in the pit or get hit with a fireball. And it's going to take them a lot of time to get through that first level. But they're going to keep trying. They're going to keep practicing. And in a week or in a month or in a year, they're going to blow through that level easy peasy. So practice makes better. Make messes. Make muddy paintings that look junky and ridiculous and you just want to scream and throw them away. Make those paintings because it's part of the process. Go out and run, and you can be heaving and hating everything and sweating and red in the face because you had to walk more than you ran. But if you do it every day, you're going to be running more than you're walking before you know it. And when you pick up that instrument and it sounds terrible, you can't make a sound, or it sounds twangy or inconsistent, practice it. Practice different techniques. Take some lessons. Keep trying. In a month, in a year, with consistency and practice and diligence, you will get better. You will get better. Practice makes better. All right, my friends, this one this one took longer than I wanted. It's funny how this keeps happening. I'm a chatty lady, but I want to thank you for listening. Whatever you are doing this week, you hop over to Instagram. Come find me at Creative Happy Life Podcast on Instagram. Give me a follow. Shoot me a message. Let me know what you are practicing. Let me know what you are trying. Let me know what you want to do more diligently to get better. I would love to hear from you. If you really enjoy this episode, if you took something away from it, I would love it if you would share it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all the things. And I really appreciate you listening. Tune in for my next episode. It's going to be another creative, happy life, creativity pep talk. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I need to go eat some lunch. But you guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate it so much. Be well, be awesome. You're already awesome. So there you go. All right. Take care. Have a beautiful day. And I'll see you next time.